Shadiverse.
Greetings, I'm Shad, and we are testing something.
It's an abomination.
Cursed.
Again.
Something very cursed. As you guys may have remembered, this is the Long Tana. I did a build video on this a week or two ago.
Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah, that's a good name, Long Tana.
Long Tana?
It's easy to remember.
It sounds like a drink you would get when you're in the Himalayas. Would you like a Long Tana to warm you up?
Whatever it may be called. Today we're actually going to go a little bit more in depth and, do some cutting with it, maybe test it out a bit and compare it to another sword that a lot of people very obviously compared it to.
We are putting it to the test. Now, we kind of got to fiddle with it in the build video.
We did.
And the reality is, I kind of like it. It's still an abomination. It doesn't mean it's not. But
it's a very
it's
large
a
rondel dagger, like we said,
Yeah.
yeah? A giant
Yeah,
dagger.
it kind of is.
it's
It
a
kind of is.
likable abomination.
Once it's unsheathed, the artistic part of my brain likes it, and then I pick it up and I'm like, now I don't know anymore.
Well, why don't we unsheath it, just for anybody who didn't see the other video. So this is a long sword blade. Who wants to hold it?
Nate needs to hold it because he hasn't held it yet.
Yeah, it's asymmetrical though. Like if I hold it this way, the blade is a little more forward of hand than if I hold it that, which feels so wrong. I'm gonna hold it that way.
Yeah, that was just a problem with construction because of the tang. But aside from that, it has a nice aesthetic.
Your
kind of.
thoughts, Nate?
I know! See, the problem is I have so many conflicting thoughts. Like, I like the blade profile. Wait, that's just because it's a long sword. I don't know, like I like the idea that the weight is front heavy. I don't mind the handle. Putting them all together is making my brain hurt. I kind of want to cut with it before I really start thinking about
What do
too
you think
much.
of the weight, though? I think it's very light, a very light blade. Just in general.
I don't mind the weight. It feels ill-balanced though.
Really?
Yeah. Because I feel like it's down, all the weight's down here.
Right.
So it's very light, very tippy. But given that, I don't feel confident that this Suba would be able to block well enough to take any type of defensive action that a sword like this is
Really?
kind of designed for.
Even if it has more surface area than a crossguard?
Shad, stop it.
Yes.
Now,
Why would that be, Nate? Because it depends where the surface area is put. That would optimize its
That is
defensive
absolutely
capacity,
true.
but
I'm
it's
always
not-
more of a fan of a crossguard than a Suba as well. But that's a completely another discussion.
this one actually has the touchy handle, or the okatana handle, so it's actually longer than a standard katana handle, which I think works in its favor, to be honest. If this was shorter,
Nice on the handle.
I don't know if I would like it as much. But why don't we compare it to this little blade here? I don't think we've shown this one on camera. So this one was sent to us by Cloudhammer Steelworks.
I forget the... We're not familiar with Chinese sword name terminology.
But you can see there are some similarities here. It's a double-edged
I think
blade.
it's a Jian.
Jian?
Jian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is one of the older sword designs, historically speaking.
This is an interesting sword.
It is. Now, the reason why I brought this one out is because you can see there are a lot of design elements that would be considered similar.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the blades are so different in terms of their cross-section and stuff.
Yes.
And also, yeah, there's a lot of weird differences. But, I mean, it does look Chinese. That's
Yes,
the point.
but like it's the only sword we have in the armory that's even like
That's even
close.
in the
Close.
ballpark
Yeah.
of this.
But why don't we get to some cutting and see how this thing handles?
Not only cutting, but also a lot of other kind of tests.
Well, then keep in mind, if you guys have watched the build video, the construction of this is
Don't say questionable.
questionable. So we need to be a little bit careful, a little bit more careful than usual at least.
We're going to hit a tree with it.
I don't know about that one.
I'll get the safety glasses. Let's give this a few cuts. If I can cut, we'll see how we go. We'll hold it front heavy first, because I feel like that's going to make it the best chopper. That was actually a lot cleaner than I expected. It feels a little clunky. I don't think I'm a fan. Maybe I'm just biased against katanas. Like, that was me. It's nice, but
All right, here's a
it's
question.
cutting well.
Is it more of a long sword or a katana? I would say it's probably 70% long sword.
Yeah, it's more longsword than anything. It's like there's an interdimensional rift right here.
I think that's the best I've ever seen you cut. Good job.
How about, have you cut with this?
I have cut with it, right? And my thoughts on this is It's mainly due to the blade. I think it would cut just as well with the other hilt on it. And it's just, if the blade was equally sharp with the other hilt, it would cut as well with the other hilt. For me, I don't see as much of a difference except for one big thing. Maneuverability. And how easy it is now to cut with the back edge. One of the biggest virtues of a double-edged sword are reverse edge cuts. And if this is like a katana hybrid, we need to test how well it performs with the biggest virtue. We didn't do this in the build video. We need to test reverse edge cutting and how much this might prevent or get in the way. Because if this really hinders that, you then lose out on one of the most important features of having a double-edged blade.
All right.
So why don't you give it a couple of goes, Shad? And give us your thoughts.
I will give my thoughts. Coming around to a reverse edge cut. That was smooth. Look, it's weird. See how much I have to lower my hand to get the angle? So I'm trying to do the same grip, but I'm on it now. Is that really a bad thing?
Because you have an extra long handle.
I have an extra long handle, so I got the room to actually still do it.
Yes, but you're creating the point of balance higher now.
One might even say it's more protective of the thumb.
Yeah.
I mean, a Suba is simply not as protective as a crossguard, even on the sideways plane. People who are unfamiliar with swords or really haven't practiced enough with them in combat don't realize that even though there's nothing on this side to protect, as soon as you angle like that, look, suddenly you're protecting that entire plane. People think that every strike is going to come down like that. No, angled a tiny bit, and you get as much sideways protection with a longsword and a crossguard than you do on a Suba. But this is one of those rare instances where if you do that, you're not really getting that protection on the thumb eye anymore. So if you lower it underneath the Suba, this actually might be one of those rare instances where a Suba could offer a tiny bit more protection, not for the overall hand, you still have all the problems of before, but just for the thumb. Nate, you look skeptical.
Because you're lowering your hand way too much, changing the center of balance. I
don't think that affects. In actual fact, there's a bit more momentum in the reverse edge cut. Have a feel.
I do. Something that this blade that I hadn't thought of until then is that having that much leverage on a blade that is that light at the tip is actually very nice.
It is. See, what do you think?
I think my hand naturally wants to come up here and be guarded properly.
But is that preference because you've trained that way? Try and remove the conditioning you've had and give it a fair feel. Feel the blade.
Don't like it.
He doesn't like it.
I
think the momentum might actually help out with that. Okay, so I'm gonna I've already done it and it actually cut pretty well. So forward edge, coming in back edge. I'll do another one just to test. That was smooth. I wonder if it's cutting better even because I'm lowering it. I have more momentum now in the swing. All right, this is a tough one. Coming in on a reverse edge angle like that. It's awkward, but that's always a tough cut. This is a tough one. Horizontal reverse edge cut. You're here, and you're going to come down on an angle like that. Okay, I'm a bit surprised. This is doing just as effective reverse edge cuts. In actual fact, the extra leverage because of the length of the handle and gives me I can lower the grip, and then that gives a bit more momentum in the swing. It's kind of weird. Like if I was defending, I would keep it choked up, and so I'd be going, all that. But then if I want to do a reverse edge cut in the middle of the swing, I would lower it as I move like that, and I kind of get the best of both worlds. So if I go, hanging guard, block, then come in for a reverse edge, the transition is really easy. So I was not expecting it to be that natural, honestly. Single-handed?
Single-handed, double-handed, just normal cuts.
All right.
Just see how it feels.
I think Tyrant and Nate are barbarians for using two-handed swords one-handed. It's an abomination. They do it all the bloody time. And
okay, Shade, I'm going to stop you right there, buddy. Normally, I would just...
They're two-handed swords! You're always using them with one hand! Use a freaking one-handed sword if you want to use a one-handed weapon!
It's called a skill issue there. And a strength issue. Both.
You're sacrificing speed and leverage just to look cool because you're one-handed.
Look. Something that you don't get
I
to see
said it! I'm not taking it back!
a lot on Shadowversity is the fact that I like shield. I like sword and shield, so I like to use a sword in one hand and keep my other hand free. You, I have to admit, are a bit of a barbarian. So, you know.
Strong. It's strength. What are you talking about?
Like literally against the laws of nature when it comes to swords. Look, I'm not saying there aren't techniques where you might want to grapple and everything, but when you don't need to use this other hand to just release and do it, it's wrong. It's a perversion against the natural order. I don't like it.
Oh,
See?
it's
See?
because you're bad at
See?
them.
Look at that. It's wrong.
I'm sorry, guys. That was my fault. I didn't realize Shad was just terrible at them. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I didn't know. Do it
Say
again.
that. He knows that it's an abomination.
I believe in you, Shad. You can do the
If I
thing.
was to line it up and just say, oh, look, I come with it one-handed.
So, why do I think using this sword one-handed is perfectly fine? Well, it's actually a really light sword. And I know these guys have said, oh, it's a little bit heavier, tip heavy. I feel like this is really light. Like, it's lighter than a katana. I think I'm going to have to weigh this
need to weigh
afterwards.
it.
I'm going to have to weigh it afterwards because it just feels so light in the hand for me. And I like that we have this extra length while maintaining that very light weight. And because it's such a nimble tip up here, you're able to get a lot of speed, which I like. That feels weird.
But it's effective.
Yes.
Look, I agree. It feels unnatural because you're not used to it.
Yeah.
But the fact that it zips through the target so
Yeah. 'Cause
well.
all right. So, in this case, like Shad said, and we said in the build video, you can't actually place your thumb here, and that feels terrible.
Yeah.
Like I do not want to do that. When you move it down, you have enough length here that it is perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I would resort to it though, just because it's weird.
I mean, reverse edge cuts can be the difference between victory and defeat because they're like even a fraction of a speed difference that you get out of it can enable you hitting that winning
Yes. But
strike.
if we hold this one for a second, for example, if we take one of these swords here, in the middle of a strike, I'm more than comfortable just to quickly to bring it around. With that one, I feel like it's too finicky.
To me, I think it's just training. I think it's so because, interestingly enough, when I went to Japan and I got to study a bit of Kenjutsu and also Kendo, one of the things they were emphasizing is that the stronger grip was the lower grip, and you only hold, and they actually naturally hold it lower like that.
Yeah.
And this is the strength, this is the guide, right? And you could, which is a bit different. In a lot of European styles, you keep that forward grip strong, okay? And so I think it's just a matter of switching your grip a bit, because if you just have it like that, suddenly when you go in for an attack, see this? It is so easy to just do that
It might just be
as quickly.
a me thing, because like I said, I use swords one-handed primarily.
Yeah.
So when I go from this in the middle of a swing to a reverse edge cut, it's very easy for me.
Yeah.
That's super
Yeah.
easy and super fluid.
that's what
when
I
I
think.
try it with this,
I think it's a matter of training, and
Yeah.
you need to make this your primary grip, the lower hand,
Yeah.
and keep this ready to transition and loose.
Okay, let's try this on a water bottle. Oh. So it's nice, but it's not. But it's not. No, it's nice, but it's not. Like the blade is nice and sharp. It has a lot of speed. It just doesn't.
I love this. I could see that zip through without a sweat.
Yeah.
And you like, oh damn, it's
Look,
good.
just because something is a good cutter doesn't make it a good combat sword. I'm not a fan of this.
hey Shad, you want to go again? You want to
Yeah, I will.
A sword has to have multiple functions. It's a good cutter. It's a very good cutter.
And it's not bad at reverse edges.
I don't.
And it's not bad one-handed. What else did we need from a sword? Oh yeah,
Soul.
hand protection.
Soul.
Hand
You need
protection.
soul from a sword. That's cursed.
It's just super. It's
cursed!
You know?
Ow, that's a clean cut though.
Yeah.
Clean, but a little bit of resistance on that. Is
Clean
that
but
some good
cursed.
tip? I'm going for the difficult one. Reverse edge horizontal.
Easy.
All right, and that does prove a point. I mean, drink the blood of your enemy. Go on, do it, do it.
I just did.
Drink it.
Just
Yeah, better.
like that.
Yep. Tastes good.
Yep.
Yep.
Tastes like water, didn't it? There you go. You want
Okay, so an actual horizontal cut is fine.
Yeah.
The reverse edge horizontal is just the difficulty of the cut for me. So, Any additional thoughts on it, gentlemen?
Cursed, I don't like it.
Even though I cut really well for Nate. One of the biggest virtues of a katana is the way it absorbs shock because of its construction.
That's true.
All right, the pins. All right, this is not a standard European sword construction where the tang goes through the handle and it's pinned.
These have pins, usually bamboo pins that go through the tang, which absorb a lot of shock.
Yeah,
and give it ease of repair as well.
It sends the shock into the wooden handle,
Yeah.
and because the pins themselves are wood, it does suck it in more. Whereas European ones, it's metal and it goes all the way through to the hilt, and you like. The European construction is stronger and more durable. This is more comfortable usually. So we need to see if this modification gets that bonus, and the only way to do it
Caveat time.
is to punish it.
This has smaller brass pins going through, so they're metal pins, and then they're reinforced with epoxy to actually hold the handle on. And the reason why is because the tang was very unsuitable for this sort of
You have to
handle.
use smaller pins.
Yeah.
'Cause-
So it's a bit of a bastardization.
Yeah.
Of
what
whole
metal
thing.
was the pins?
Brass.
Brass.
So
Brass is softer.
they're a bit
so-
softer, that's why I went with them, but
It's like brazing a crossguard. It's still going to be a solid piece of metal.
this is not, a katana's better or a longsword's better in this. This is like a mishmash.
Well, we will find out, won't we?
This might break, genuinely. Alrighty guys, so it's time to weigh, and not just weigh, compare a little bit, because we've got a couple of swords here. So we'll start off with this.
Well,
just,
I think baseline.
you want
Baseline, long sword, weights.
This is 1.2,
I know, it's 1.2.
because we've done it like 3 times.
1.2 kilo.
1.21, roughly.
Roughly, yes. So it's pretty light.
It's on the, look, it should be acknowledged, this is on the lighter end of long swords, but so was the Tinker longsword that we
To begin
adapted
with.
this.
That is true.
This here is a touchy, and this one's a little bit heavier.
Standard O katana.
1.19.
So 1.2. It's actually equivalent in weight.
Very, very close.
So it's not
So-
heavier necessarily.
All right, let's have a look at the long tana. Do you guys really like long tana?
If you guys can think of a better name, leave it down below.
We wanna hear,
we are
we wanna
open to
hear.
suggestions, but Long Tana just makes sense.
I think long tana makes too much sense. Long tana. I'll have one long tana, please.
1.2. Wow. Okay.
1.2.
Even with the missing pummel, the additional length on the handle kind of balances it out.
I have to admit, that feels lighter in the
It,
hand.
it does feel lighter, right?
It does. It feels lighter.
Oh,
than
wait,
that.
wait, wait,
That
wait.
feels-
Wait.
I
That's-
think something to mention
Yes.
is
Yes. Yes.
I will see.
Okay.
What is this?
This blade is also pretty long as well. If you actually compare this blade length
It
to the
feels
others.
lighter.
Yeah.
That is a better distributed weight. He's agreeing. It's just taking a minute for him to get there.
It does feel lighter.
So, what have we learned here? All of these swards, so the long sword, the touchy, all of them, are pretty much equivalent weight.
Within grams
But
of each
for
other.
some warping of reality, it feels better.
No.
That's just.
It doesn't have a pummel. It's not supposed to.
It's a good cutter. It's heavy. Its
Mate.
weight is.
craftsmanship, perhaps. One of those. But why don't we move on to
All right.
the woodcut tank?
I hope this shows that I will acknowledge facts, even against my own bias here, even when it doesn't make sense. But you were saying it doesn't feel good.
It does not.
What are you on?
It doesn't.
Try, all right, go test. Nate, go and test in your head. Now, go. Do it. Okay. That's easy to maneuver.
Not really. This, on the other hand, now it is a little slower in the tip. Now, it is a little slower in the tip. It seems heavier to get moving. It seems there's more momentum, but there is more weight. There is more control in the zone around where you are controlling the blade.
Is it?
has-
You know what I think it is?
It has the right amount of weight in the right location.
I figured it out. It's the profile taper of the sword. This has a thicker tip, right? And it's got more weight here, where, look at this, there is more weight lower because of the wider base of the blade. This is a wider base. Thinner at the tip, thicker at the... Look, you can really see it on... Look how much thicker this tip is compared to this.
You are for that.
That's the answer. It's not the pummel.
an answer.
It's the blade profile.
Anyways, is it time to get to our wood chopping?
I think it is.
Where we might destroy it.
Yeah.
Who wants to start with this?
Well,
I don't.
I've got the safety glasses. I'll go.
Wait, no, you have the worst edge alignment. Shad, you can do it.
I cut well today.
Today.
It's still today.
You did well today.
Shad, you need glasses.
I do. Remember, everyone, safety first. We always prioritize safety here on Shadiversity. Or at least I do. Or we knowingly risk our own health and safety willingly. Don't do what we do, basically. We do understand the general riskiness of each different activity and gauge it on its own. It's very low risk of anything hammering this into a tree. There is some risk. That's why don't copy us, okay? But I have enough confidence in the strength of this blade that it's not going to break. Maybe not necessarily the other one, but I'm going to use longsword first as a baseline, okay? But there's no harm for me wearing the mask, so I'm happy to do it. The other guys don't want to. I like this sword, okay? Interesting feature about this Baylor Arms Alexandrian sword. One of the tightest handle constructions we had. I smashed this thing into branches and everything. Did not loosen at all. Basically everything. Anyway, so vibration. Let's have a test. Cuts well. All right. This one might break. We'll find out, hey? Not any more comfortable. The vibration was just as painful on the hands.
So, Shad has done our cutting into the tree, and now I'm going to hit this branch here. I'm going to hit this a little bit harder. When we're doing the tree, we're just seeing how well it held up, basically. With this, I'm going to go a little bit harder, just a little bit. I'm not trying to destroy anything. So now it's time to test the long Tana. I'm not actually sure how much force I'm going to be able to generate because it is such a light handle and a light blade. I'm going to chuck on the mask for this because I am genuinely concerned I might break something. Let's get started. It's holding up fine. I am surprised though. It didn't feel very nice.
That was my impression.
It didn't, like, I felt like I didn't have enough mass to the blade to actually bite in. However, if we have a look at some of the cuts here.
What have I been saying?
No. We're talking about vibration in the handle. This should feel better for the vibration, but it didn't. Is it the
It didn't.
pins?
No, it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't. But I want to draw your eyes to this. So this here was the cuts from the Alexandrian sword. Pretty deep, very beefy.
Yeah.
Have a look at this. They
Wow.
were from that.
It's a very thin profile.
And they did, like, I did not feel like I had much force behind it. Just because it felt so light.
Good blade.
But that was, damn.
Hunway Tinker blade, by the way.
Whoa, you want to go, Nate? It's still holding up.
That didn't feel so nice.
That sounded terrible.
Yeah, that was edge alignment.
So let's try that again, but with this abomination.
Go for another one.
How'd it feel? How'd it feel, Nate?
I don't know yet.
Oh, sure, you know.
Two-hand it.
He liked it.
No, I didn't like it.
That went in deep.
That went really deep. I still don't like the feel of it.
It's performing well every time you use it. And you're like, I still don't like it.
I don't like the feel of it.
I am in shock. Like, I came in thinking that this was going to be a lost cause from the beginning. Like, that we've made a longsword but worse, removed nearly all of its virtues, but this actually performed really well.
It did, and it doesn't have any structural integrity issues, which I am actually surprised about more than anything else.
I mean, we've already tested Suba versus Crossguard.
Yes, like that's
in the other deep dive video on the what do we call
the
it?
Kumita.
Kumitana. And Crossguard just wins hands down.
It's not up for debate.
The Suba did not prevent reverse edge cuts and transitional grips, which is what I was thinking was going to really bother me. But wasn't an issue.
See, the thing that we've done here is We used the Suba and the handle of Itachi because that was the point. We've done it with a katana, so it's fair to do it the other way around.
Yes.
But there's nothing stopping us, really, from putting a crossguard on here and just getting all the benefits still.
I think you guys are concentrating on the wrong part. So yes, there is the
We're not
cross.
actually doing it, Shad, before you say that.
Yes,
But why not?
Because we've already done
There is
No.
the crossguard. There is the crossguard Suba like argument and debate here, but that's not what my problem with this blade is. My problem with this blade is it feels like it needs a little more weight down the bottom, and it needs a centralized blade because it's not
I don't think it needs.
central. Like it's off center that way.
Oh,
It's off center that way.
I agree. I agree there. I don't think that impacted its performance, and I
impacted
think
its
its weight. I'm shocked about that. The weight is great. That was like, this is one of the better weighted swords I think we've like. It would felt brilliant.
Very tippy.
I like
it's very, very tippy. If it had a longer handle again, I would almost want to use it as a half sword, half spear.
But I like that it has that tip because...
Hang on, we're moving past the crossguard Suba thing.
Okay.
Why can't we make a version of this with the best of all worlds? Because one of the virtues is, I think, the actual wrap,
Right.
the handle construction. Okay, so could we not still have a katana, mostly hilt, with a crossguard, made and constructed in a katana way, with long
Could we do it? Sure.
Yes.
Like, yeah, of course we could do it. But we don't have another one of these swords, and we don't have another... Like,
It does like we when we start ordering swords, it starts earning more, which is actually why your support is really, really important. If you do want to support us on Patreon, Subscribestar, Player, or channel memberships, not only does it help, it's actually crucial. We're not sustainable without your support because ad revenue has gone off a cliff, and it's only thanks to our supporters. And I understand that not everyone can support forever. Okay, people come, they support for the time they can, and then they move on. But that does mean we need more people coming in to enable us to be sustainable going forward. So please, $1 to $5 a month. It helps more than I can express. It's the thing that is enabling us to keep doing this.
and if you do help out with channel memberships, guess what? There's a whole bunch of backlog content that we've
Behind
made
the scenes, heaps.
specifically for you guys who help support the channel.
Even dedicated sneak peek videos.
Yep.
Sometimes even content that doesn't justify a full video, but we make a video on it anyway.
and stuff that we cut out specifically, like that can't make it into a main video, but it'll be funny to show behind the scenes.
It's all there. We have plenty of videos at this point, so you guys get something, you get to watch more content that hopefully you guys will enjoy, and you help support make us this type of content.
And then we might be able to keep moving with interesting sword builds.
Yes.
Put some money towards those types of things. So you were saying something about the tip.
Yes, because it is such a long blade, we get so much more movement up at the tip. I think that is a really big, and because of the weight, how the weight is distributed, I feel like this tip moves so much quicker. Because I used this sword a little bit when it was a normal longsword, and it didn't feel as, what's your word? Zippy?
Zippy?
Yeah, it didn't feel as zippy.
Really? That's
Yeah, it didn't.
Like,
It felt good,
I
just
am
not as
shocked
zippy.
at how well it performs, maneuvers the weight. I thought that would make it worse. It actually made it better. And now I have a really tough decision. Which sword is better? The Kumatana or the
Longtana.
I hate that name. Please give us a better name in the comments.
What's wrong with long time? It's got a. Sounds like a little lolly. It's sweet.
Because one of the, this is a great sword. It got all the features and benefits of the katana blade, cross guard, back edge cuts. The fact that you can't do reverse edge cuts limits the versatility still. And that's just my bias with single edge swords. Not just katanas, just single edge swords. And yes, they can take certain benefits to potentially cut better. Not always, it's not a given. You can get double edged swords that cut easily as well as these. So now, this, I got you can reverse cut. You got grip transition.
You can,
but it doesn't have a
yes.
cross guard.
So
I don't know.
No, it's an easy decision. See this is Akuna. No worries.
Akuna
Matata. No worries. This feels like a combat ready sword. Sure, it's a little thin in the blade profile. It's a little light, but everything here works together. There's something about that just isn't working. And I feel like
genuinely
it's balanced.
surprised that you do not like this.
Nope.
Like usually,
I will use it. Don't get me wrong. I understand now how it's blade speed.
Nate is swordist, okay?
Yes.
Even when a sword performs and does everything that he wants, he just doesn't like the
You
look.
have given me
They look funny.
That's not what I said. I said at the start of the video, and I've held on to that opinion throughout the whole thing. I like the look of this. The artsy part of my mind says there is something here.
I've never heard him not like a sword.
Yeah.
Like usually when you don't like a sword, you're like, oh, maybe it's not the best, blah, blah. But you've just been
usually
negative
the
on
balance
this thing
is
all
off.
day.
You're usually
It
such
is
a
not a-
tolerant and open and accepting person
Not for this.
that likes diversity. You know?
Not for this. This is an abomination. I see what he's doing. Don't go with that train of thought. Go with this train of thought. This, it's not, there's something not right. It just doesn't feel combat worthy.
Okay, so you've rambled for about a minute. You haven't really said anything yet.
I've already given all of my points. Here.
What do you prefer? Sorry.
I still prefer this.
Really?
Simply because it is a combat-ready sword. We've got the cross guard.
This is combat ready. It held up to the abuse and everything.
I
You
just,
reverse cutting and everything.
good cutter.
I don't like
good cutter.
the Suba. And yes, you can do the reverse edge cuts, but I don't like having to
Yeah, like-
modify my grip down further. While it is possible and functional, I wouldn't say it's something that I
Do you
personally
like
like.
cross guards?
Yeah.
If only there was like a sword that gave me everything I wanted.
Yeah.
You know, double edge,
Does that exist?
like, and cross guard,
And a long blade.
and a long blade. I don't know. Where could I find a sword?
I'm
like
coming
that?
up dry as well, yeah.
It's tough.
But if you wanted to watch the build video of this and how I put it together, basically, that'll be right here. So you can click on that now and watch that now.
Yeah. Let us know what you think. Which one do you prefer? The long tana or the kumatana? And we'll see. Though, look, this performed much better than I was expecting.
I will agree with that. I didn't expect that to hold up, to be honest.
Horrible.
Check out the video.
I'm going to throw this in the bin.